The Chicago Bears dropped their fourth game in a row as they fall to the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, 14-22. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL and unfortunately, folks, talking about this Chicago Bears team because it has gone sideways quick, fast, and in a hurry. So there's a lot to talk about. With that being said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe, folks. I do post a lot of content on this channel, Bears, and of course, the entire NFL as well. So go ahead and do so. And also follow me on my social media links down below and on the screen for that as well. So with that being said, I know you guys probably thought that I was going to come on here and be extremely disappointed and, you know, go off on the Bears. And here's the thing. It's hard to get disappointed when your expectations have changed. I mean, the past 2 weeks I've come on here, folks, and then I had shown my disappointment. You know, that 1-point loss to the Chargers, that really hurt. You know, losing to the Raiders in London. I mean, there have been much more disappointing parts of this season at this point. Kind of numb to it, okay? So, with that being said, let's talk about the game, and then let's talk about, of course, the Bears season overall and take a high-level picture at that. So, as previously mentioned, folks, it's hard for me to get disappointed anymore because my expectations have changed. I don't have as many expectations or as high expectations as I did for this Bears team, you know, earlier in the year. I just don't. And here's the thing. You guys follow me and subscribe to me for a reason. Okay, obviously you guys like my analysis, which I am very appreciative of that, but I have never cheated you guys and lied to you guys and have, you know, led you guys to believe something that wasn't the case. With this Bears team, after that loss to the Chargers, I said, folks, this team is not a playoff team and it is time to change our expectations. I believe I had said if you had put a gun to my head and asked me what are the chances this team makes it to the playoffs this year, I said less than 10%. Now we're 3-5. Has a 3-5 team ever made the playoffs before in the NFL? Yes, they have. Okay, I can't think of the team right now, but I'm sure if you look it up, it's probably happened before. But that team, I would like to know if they were in the tougher conference, the tougher division, and had one of the toughest schedules. I think top 5 toughest schedules in the NFL. Okay, pretty sure that, you know, those teams didn't have all 3 of those. And that's the thing with this Bears team is the expectations for me have changed. I'm not going to get disappointed anymore because at this point, this team is what it is. So if we're not talking playoffs, then what are we talking about here, Fives, right? That's the question. Well, we're talking about what can we take away from this team that is a long-term piece, okay? Moving forward, what can we take away? So let's quickly talk about the game, run through what we saw, okay? So the Bears lose 14-22. First half, atrocious offensively. I mean, this was the worst offensive performance the Bears have put on this entire season in that first half. I think we had a net gain of 9 yards total. That was not a stutter typo or anything. 9 yards total offense in the first half. Pathetic, okay? Just absolutely pathetic. Mitch Trubisky was god-awful. You know, the receivers were god-awful. And then Matt Nagy with his play calling was god-awful. I mean, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. The first 6 possessions, punt, 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 punt. I mean, it was bad, folks. And to me, no excuse for that whatsoever. You have to have your guys prepared, folks. I mean, Matt Nagy, another week of him coming out and not having this offense prepared. It is just sickening at this point. Again, the disappointment, it's gone now. Because at this point, it's literally just reality at this point with Matt Nagy. I mean, my God, it really is. Because in that first half, we couldn't get anything going, folks. 3rd and long repeatedly. And again, Mitch was awful. Couple overthrows, you know, the first throw, I think to Allen Robinson, I mean, you got to hit that, Mitch. I mean, what was that? I mean, I get the pass rush was kind of coming towards you, but Allen Robinson was streaking open on the sideline, and then Mitch completely misses him, and then too many checkdowns. And in that first half, no confidence. He looked like his mechanics were broken, even more so than they usually are. and he just wasn't thrown with conviction, okay? Defense somehow kept us in that game in the first half, so I got to give props to them. We only allowed, I think, 12 points in the first half. It felt like it was 50-0. That's how bad it was, okay? Let's fast forward to second half, okay? Second half, must have been some halftime speech Mitch got or Matt Nagy gave to the team. They came out with some fire, okay? And we get a deep bomb. Yes, that felt good to say. To Taylor Gabriel, a 53-yard pass from Mitch to Taylor Gabriel. And let me stop here and just say one thing. Say what you want about Mitch Trubisky. I don't need to pile on. You can go look on Twitter. You can go look at my comments. And you can go look at other Bears fans talking about Mitch Trubisky. We get it. He's not very good. Okay? So no need to beat a dead horse here. But is Mitch Trubisky the worst quarterback you've ever seen? I bet he is not. Okay? So why do I say that? Because that 53-yard pass to Taylor Gabriel just shows you this kid, I shouldn't even say kid anymore, this man has talent. Okay, he does. But it is up to the coaching staff to find a way to utilize it and put him in that position. Again, we saw today, the Indianapolis Colts lose Jacoby Brissett. They're down to Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer leads them to like 2 touchdown drives. He came in, by the way, right away and threw a touchdown pass to Jack Doyle. That's the difference between a good coaching staff. Who do you want right now? Brian Hoyer, Mitch Trubisky. You might say Brian Hoyer, fine, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, Brian Hoyer was on the Bears, I believe, wasn't very good. Okay, was not very good. So to me, he's a career journeyman quarterback. And the point I'm just trying to make here is you see somewhere in there with Mitch, there is talent. This coaching staff cannot get it out of him. They just can't. But in the second half, obviously, uncorked the deep pass. I don't know why we can't attempt like one just deep shot at the beginning of every game. Just one deep shot. Just please. That would be nice. So that ends up happening, and then we drive down the field and a touchdown. David Montgomery rushing TD. Thank God, Matt Nagy. I'll give you credit here. Play calling. Second half, beautiful. Loved it. The second drive, again, we stopped the Eagles, and then we come back around and we score again. So Mitch in the second half throwing with conviction, solid pocket presence, stepping into his throws. He had a lot of drops by receivers in that game, by the way. I mean, David Montgomery definitely dropped a pass. Allen Robinson dropped one. That would have been like a 40-plus yard completion. I believe Tariq Cohen dropped a pass. I mean, he had at least 4 drop passes in that game. And I think we would have been leading in that game had it not been for those drops. So, again, what does that all boil down to? In the first half, the offense let us down. In the second half, the defense let us down. Because the defense could not get off the field to save their lives. 3 times! We had the Eagles 3rd and long. 3 times. And we couldn't stop them. I had kind of been reluctant to go hard on this defense because, again, the offense has been pathetic for the most part. But just when your offense is clicking, the defense wants to give in. And now it's like, oh, Faz, you can't blame the defense. They've been carrying the team, and they have. But last I checked, the defense is still getting paychecks. I believe all the players on the defense are still getting paid. Why do they get to just stop trying? They don't. They need to be held accountable as well, just as the offense. I'm holding the offense accountable. I said they were awful in the first half. But the defense needs to be held accountable as well. Folks, we had 3 times we could have stopped the Eagles. We get the ball back. The offense was clicking. I'm not saying they would have won that game for sure, but it was a 1-possession game. It was an 8-point game. You get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. You're back in it. And the defense can't get off the field. So that was the story of the game, folks. Basically, offense let us down the first half. The defense let us down in the second half. So now begs the question, where do the Bears go from here? Because a lot of fans are calling for Mitch Trubisky's job, saying he should be benched. A lot of people are saying Matt Nagy needs to be fired. What do the Bears do? And here's where I'm at with this. I thought long and hard about this. You're 3-5. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. You don't have very many assets. Salary cap space is going to go down. What do you do at this point? And as for this season, I believe from here on out, it is evaluation time. Straight up. You're 3-5, okay, 8 games into it, 9 weeks. Use the rest of the season to just evaluate these guys. That's it. Because to me, if you go out there and try to trade for somebody, because again, I mentioned this in another video, right? Nick Foles is an option. Well, Gardner Minshew just had his worst game of the year. They might turn back to Nick Foles, so he might not be available. Teddy Bridgewater, he's not going to be available until the offseason. Like, the quarterbacks that we're talking about that the Bears should either trade for, nobody's going to be available that is worth it. And as far as free agents, I don't see anybody out there. So to me, you fire the head coach or you bench the quarterback at this point, it isn't doing much because who are you replacing it with? People are very quick to say, let's, bench this guy or let's, fire this guy. Fine. Who's the replacement? Because I would have no issues if this is the offseason because we would have time to find a replacement. No, to me, at this point, just use the rest of the season to evaluate these guys. I want to evaluate Matt Nagy. I want to evaluate Mitch Trubisky. If this is what we're going to do, so be it. Cut it loose. I don't want any strings attached because once you make that move, there is no going back. Once you bench Mitch Trubisky, there is no bringing him back. Once you fire Matt Nagy, obviously there's no rehiring him. That is it. So to me, I know that's not the answer a lot of Bears fans want to hear, but I'm telling you that is the right answer. That's the logical answer. I don't want to give up any of our future assets and draft picks. We already don't have very many, okay? And I don't want to utilize more cap space for something that would not guarantee us to even make the playoffs. I'm just being dead honest with you guys. That's where I'm at. So to me, I'm using the rest of the season to evaluate what we have, both on offense, certainly, and defense as well. That's where I'm at, folks. Let me know what you guys think. You guys agree with me or disagree with me? How do you feel about the Bears season moving forward? Should they make a move? Should they do anything? Should they stand pat? Let me know down below. As always, thanks for watching.